This is me in my little private villa with my very own pool, beautiful room, red hot sun. And I was actually just thinking, am I a strong independent woman or am I an absolute loser being here on my own? And then I realised, why would I want the memory of this to be tainted with the fact that I was here with a man who will then be my ex, who probably cheated on me and hurt me, when it can forever now just be a memory of me being in a remote island on my own, at peace, just enjoying time on my own by a pool, reading books. Like, it all just makes sense.
She's making a confession that she is unable to find a man who treats her well, or that she's difficult to get along with. So yes, she's better off going alone.
Go by yourself.
I'm sorry, but if I'm seeing a guy, or if I'm in a relationship, I genuinely want good morning, beautiful texts 365 days of the calendar year. And I'm sorry, but I don't care if that's asking for too much, or if I'm reaching for the stars. That stuff makes me so happy. And it's so important. It might be a tiny, trivial detail, but honestly, the difference a simple good morning text makes is, in my opinion, quite astronomical. I just wish sometimes men did it more, because I think it gets so easily forgotten. And it's a shame, really, because sometimes the consistency of good morning texts ultimately is what sets you apart from the rest.
She said she wants good morning texts, but when she receives good morning texts, she probably thinks the guy is too nice and eventually gets bored. Even if a Chad does this too often, he might be seen as too much of a nice guy. I would recommend you say, "Good morning, bitch," if you are going to give good morning texts. A double-edged sword of niceness and rudeness at the same time. If she says you're being rude, just say you are joking and then do it again the next morning. She'll get comfortable with it eventually. Otherwise, don't bother with good morning texts at all.
Fair point, yeah.
If you ask me what my body count is, are we in year 9? Excuse me. I'm a grown woman. Why are you asking me this question? Maybe down the line you can ask me like how many people I slept with. Like, listen, don't get it twisted. I can count it on one hand. It's not about what the number is that I don't want to share. It's that question shouldn't be leaving your lips. Do you know what I mean? Like, grow up. Because what's your mum's body count? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it for a minute. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to have that conversation, so don't start it with me. But those are the two things that will get a man literally blocked.
She said men should not be bothered about whether if a woman has a low or high body count, but their body count determines whether if they are going to be able to keep a committed relationship for the long term or not. So on the contrary, a man should be concerned about her body count. And if you have to ask her after you have established a real connection and trust, before she feels comfortable telling you, she automatically sets herself up for getting her feelings hurt, because after she gets dumped for having a high body count, she would have realised she could have avoided that situation if she was willing to tell her body count straight away, as soon as she met the guy.
They're shooting themselves in the foot, let them.
On top of studying self-worth for a week in rehab, and listening to what everybody else in the group had to say about us and stuff. I mean, we also had one-on-one therapy with our caseworkers, and I cannot explain what that did for me. Like, it even changes who I like now, because I know what I deserve, and I'm just not gonna settle for anything other than being treated better than the bare minimum. So I really hope everyone finds that. It's an amazing thing if you suffer from self-esteem. If you suffer from self-esteem issues, geez, I'm not so great at wording things, it seems.
The bare minimum is debatable within itself, because for some women, the bare minimum is getting their bills paid, being taken out to expensive holiday getaways, and getting foot massages. An ex-junkie should be happy to receive a glass of water and a chocolate bar, but she probably believes that she deserves much more than that.
The girl is deluded.